This is Jim Williams with the Hurricane City Tropical Update video for June 25th, 8 a.m. Here's the water vapor loop of the Atlantic Basin, and we can see our very strong tropical wave 93L here right off the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras. I'll get to the details on that in just a minute. We have another strong tropical wave out here that's interacting with an upper level low, and this is more than likely not going to develop. It's going to get shredded as it heads into about 50 knots of shear. But this system over here, 93L in the Western Caribbean, is what all eyes are on right now, as this has huge potential to be a nightmare for the oil spill situation in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about it. The center of circulation appears to be right off the coast here of Honduras and Nicaragua. I'll show you some close-ups in a minute. What we have is an upper level low here in the northern Gulf of Mexico, and that's causing some pretty strong wind shear up in here, around 30 knots or so north of the system. But this upper level low is kind of moving off to the northwest. It's moving in tandem with 93L. In fact, when 93L was back over in here, that same low was north of it. So this low has been traveling in tandem with 93L the entire time, causing a little bit of wind shear out of the southwest, just out in front of this wave the entire time it's been traveling. And also there's a high pressure ridge over the top that's trying to establish itself over the top of 93L, and that's been kind of disrupting development as well. So this is not going to develop out here. It's just too much wind shear with an upper level trough, and right now all eyes are on 93L. Let's go ahead and look at the models from a few days ago, and here we were when it was south of Jamaica. Really none of the models had it going where it is right now, which is down in here. Right here. But if you look at the no gaps, it's really the only model here that kind of shot it out like a wet watermelon seed, so to speak, here just south of the group of models here. It kind of shifted and came back in line heading towards the Yucatan Peninsula. So maybe the no gaps is the only thing that maybe picked up on the south jog here. Now if we go to the current model situation, here we are, and they've all started out initializing it where it is right now, and the no gaps continues to push it even further south. And you know, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that that could happen, because if I show you close-up visible in just a minute, the system looks like it's not moving very much and it's been wobbling around. But in the end, the no gaps takes it towards Mexico down here, and there's a whole range of things that can happen with these models. I'll show you on Chris's Tropical Atlantic map in a few frames from now what's happening with the models and what the thinking is. But you have the easternmost outlier, the GFDL model, takes it into the Florida Panhandle. You got the Canadian going up into Louisiana, but the Canadian has shifted this morning and it is now heading towards Texas. And there's several pretty good models that take it into the northern Gulf, and then they kind of stop it and head back to the west towards Texas, as a ridge of high pressure is going to build in behind the trough that's supposed to take this off to the north, and it might sling it back to the west towards Texas. So again, I'll get to the details on these in just a minute, but there's the current model runs on the system. Let's take a look at a close-up visible of this system, and there it is. We believe the center of circulation is right where my mouse pointer is, and now you see the clouds beginning to consolidate around the center. And again, that center we believe is right in here, right there. It's trying to organize itself, but it's kind of just stationary and maybe drifting around a little bit here and trying to get its act together. So this could very well drift a little further to the south before it finally starts making that northwest turn. So we'll watch it, but all eyeballs everywhere need to really pay close attention to this. The good thing is, though, none of the models are really indicating that this is going to crank up into anything significant as far as a major hurricane or anything like that. Now here are the upper level winds from the University of Wisconsin. And this is from a couple of days ago, and I like to go back in time a little bit to see how these things react to stuff. But here we are, the upper level high pressure ridge just to the west of 93L at that time. 93L was back here south of Jamaica, and we had the westerly northwest winds on the front side of this high pressure ridge that were kind of causing a little bit of wind shear on the system, and because it's not underneath the high pressure ridge, a tropical system needs to be underneath the ridge to have upper level support. Now if we go into today's map, you can see that the center of circulation again is on the right side of the high pressure ridge, so this is going to be a slow developer here if at all, because again that high pressure needs to align itself over the top of it, but the high pressure keeps shifting off to the west. And again, you can see that upper level low up here in the northern Gulf causing this wind shear like this. But again, that's going to be moving off to the northwest and getting out of the way. So the wind shear should not be a real big problem, but it needs to get vertically aligned to get developing down here. And here is where the center is located according to the University of Colorado State. And again, you can see right around 15, almost 16 north and 82.5 degrees west is where we think the center is according to Colorado State. And then they have another circle over here to the right, which would indicate maybe there's a little uncertainty about exactly where the center might be trying to form. Might be a little over here, but here's currently where they're thinking the center is located this morning. Here are the model intensity forecasts from all the intensity models. And basically the only model that really takes this near hurricane strength, actually two models, you got the SHIP model and the TVCN model, both taking it up around 85 miles an hour at 132 hours. And a couple of other models are indicating the GFTI and the GFDI. Both indicate this could be near hurricane strength wherever it makes its final landfall point. But the other models all keep it tropical storm strength, so the consensus is basically tropical storm at this time. Here's the ASCAT that was grabbed from early this morning, and again they indicate that there's a broad circulation right here just off the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras. And again, all these links can be found on Jim's predictions for the week if you want to get a detailed look at some of these links here. Now the hurricane hunters are going to head out there this afternoon. We'll have this up on the live feed at hurricanecity.tv. They're getting fueled up here. They should be heading out this afternoon, and we'll have a better idea of whether we have a tropical depression forming down there. And that'll start late this afternoon on hurricanecity.tv. We'll have the hurricane hunter fixes on there for you to watch and keep track of where the system, where it is. Again, the oil situation out in the Gulf of Mexico, they're working out there feverishly trying to get as much oil out of that ocean as they can. But I just sent an email to Tiny. I'm waiting to hear back from him. He's one of our observers out there in the on the horizon spill scene, and to find out what their plans are for if this starts heading into the Gulf, what the winds have to be for them to evacuate and that sort of stuff. So I'll pass that along on the next tropical update video. All right, one more image I wanted to show you, and that is, whoops, let's see, this is chris'stropicatlantic.com, and we have, we always like to keep track of what models are doing what up to this point. So far, out of taking around roughly 30 models out of Chris's Tropical Atlantic, if you take roughly 30 models, there's about 15 that take it into the northern Gulf and about 16 that take it towards Texas. So it's almost 50-50 at this point with the model thinking right now of where this is going to go. But the best performing model to this point has been the BAM-D model. So if we track it, you see the BAM-D actually takes this into the Pacific, believe it or not. So, you know, anything's possible with this system. You know, there's a couple of significant systems out in the East Pacific right now, and this might just follow on the heels of it. You never know. We might be building this up for the Gulf for no reason when this could actually end up going into the Pacific. The BAM-D indicates that, but the model consensus is that this is going to make it into the Gulf of Mexico rather than the Pacific. But the BAM-D, 102.3 miles off at 3 days. It's the best performer so far. And a couple of models are really taking interest. The TVCC and the TVCN. Both of these models have it going toward the northern Gulf, hanging a left-hand turn and heading back towards Texas and Mexico, and that's because a high-pressure ridge would build in behind the trough that's going to sling off the east coast, and could actually, the clockwise flow around this could shove it back towards Texas after it gets in the northern Gulf. But at that point, it would just be academic as far as the oil spill is concerned, because it would still be causing a huge southerly fetch of wind up here, which would shove a lot of oil on shore even before it went back towards Texas. So it's a good news, bad news situation all the way around with this system. None of the models indicate this is going to become an intense system, but there's a lot of uncertainty of where it's going to go. Everybody needs to pay close attention from the Florida Panhandle all the way to Mexico, and we'll feature the cities that are impacted by the system once it becomes a tropical depression. That's it for now. We'll be back with another update probably later this afternoon if we have a tropical depression. Thank you again for visiting Hurricane City.